And Biden is, I don't even like to mention Biden because he's not controlling anything.
Who do you
They
think is
control
pulling
him.
Biden's strings? Is it former Obama
People
officials?
that you've never heard of, people that are in the dark shadows, people that...
What does that mean? That sounds like conspiracy theory. Dark shadows.
No,
What is
it's people that you haven't heard of. They're people that are on the streets. They're people that are controlling the streets. We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend. And in the plane, it was almost completely loaded with thugs wearing these dark uniforms, black uniforms with gear and this and that. They're on a plane.
Where's this?
I'll tell you sometime, but it's under investigation right now. But they came from a certain city, and this person was coming to the Republican National Convention. And there were like 7 people on the plane like this person, and then a lot of people were on the plane to do big damage. They were coming from
Planning for Washington.
Yeah, this is all happening.
But the money is coming from somewhere.
Money is coming
How can it be
from
tracked?
some very stupid rich people that have no idea that if their thing ever succeeded, which it won't, they will be thrown to the wolves like you've never seen before.
All right, Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to my teachers and the men whom I learned this truth from, starting with the beginning at the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Brakathum to the hopefully elect. All right, and I came across this article here on Zero Edge, where it's basically, it was going into, I played the clip. It was going into Trump addressing certain individuals in dark places, the dark shadows, basically, which, a lot of people think that, you talk about the illuminati and the deep state and things of that nature, it's just it's just a conspiracy, because though we're living in a time of prophecy, prophecies are being fulfilled. And, one of those prophecies, one of the prophecies, includes, that veil and the covering cast that would, that's pretty much covered the face of the earth for so long, is being removed. How about Shemel Shai? He's removing that veil, that covering cast. So people are starting to wake up to a lot of things, right? But nevertheless, you still got a lot of people that are still in the dark. They still don't know. They're still clueless to a lot of these things, But nevertheless, the eyes of the righteous, all right, the perfect, all right, the meek and the lowly, the elect, all right, the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai, is working with the elect, and giving them the spirit of understanding to know and understand these things, all right, and because again, this chick, this reporter, I don't even know her name, but she tried to try to come off, trying to downplay, what Trump was saying. She mentioned something about these people in these dark places, these dark shadows, and she was talking about the conspiracy theory. But sure enough, these things, when going into the Illuminati and all these things, is something is definitely a real thing, all right? Because you do got a lot of what does the scripture say? The spiritual wickedness in high places, all right? All right, they have these summits and these meetings, all right? Because one thing, they as well as all the other nations, but Esau, Edom in general, one thing they benefit off of the downfall of the nation of Israel. All right, so they do everything in their power. They spend all type of money, resources, all these, and these are the things that they go over in these councils. All right, how to keep us in a state of not knowing, a state of sin, a state of ignorance. All right, and this is what go ahead and get into the lesson. In Psalms 64. See if that's the right chapter. This might be 54. Psalms 54 or 64. I think it's 64. Let me start there first. But nevertheless, these are the things that King David he prayed. He talked about. Yeah, and start at verse 1, Psalm 64:1. It says, "Hear my voice, O Most High, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy." All right, and Psalms 83, the 83rd chapter, gives a list of all the enemies of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and Esau, Edom being on the top of that list. All right, because again, you do have other nations, they're in pretty much, this coalition with Esau, Edom, but nevertheless, it starts with Esau, Edom, being he's at the top of the list, and he's the biggest enemy to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, as well as the nation of Israel, and even more so the elect. All right, so again, this is why we're constantly, or supposed to be at least, in prayer, because again, these devils, they work against us day and night. All right, they don't sleep without devising some wicked plan, to basically, like I said, keep us in a state of just a sin, because they know and understand, when the nation of Israel as a whole is in a state of sin, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not dealing with us. But again, nevertheless, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is working right now, and he's woken up the elect, if they're not sealed already. He's waking certain individuals up, because it's prophesied in Matthew's 24th chapter, once the elect are sealed, things are going to start moving even quicker, for the elect's sake. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to do these things for the elect's sake. All right, and this is why they take counsel amongst themselves to keep us in a state of not knowing. All right, they, like I said, they do everything in their power to poison us. They just keep us in a state of sin. All right, read on verse 2. It says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity." So you see, because like I said, these people in these dark places, these dark shadows, all right, the so-called illuminati, all right, like I said, it's a very real thing, and it's something that our forefathers, they well understood, and they prayed, basically for that hedge of protection from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because again, basically, when it comes to these individuals in these high places, man, they're willing to, they pretty much, they don't have a limit. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahushua created these individuals to be the most wicked and cruel, profane things, profane creatures, man. Here it is, they'll kill their own people, so how much more, for these so-called blacks, Hispanics, and American Indians, because you got our people today, Jakes today, they're trying to, rise up and, seek, justice from the one, the people that are doing all the that are causing all these injustices. All right, which that's all a setup in itself, but nevertheless, reading on verse 3, it says, "Who wet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not." So you see, because again, they devise all these wicked plans and schemes in secret. Like I said, with all these summits and these councils, when they come together, these nations, they come together. They plot all these plans to basically, destroy us at the end of the day. And even more so, the elect, the prophets, the men of the Lord. All right. Where's that at? Verse 5, it says, "They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them?" So you see how, again, they, every year, different times of the year, and, this is just what we know of, the different events that they have throughout the year. They come together, like the Bohemian Grove. All right, they come together and they devise all these wicked plans, right, to destroy us. All right, they do it in private, they do it in secret. All right, You know, a lot of those meetings don't even they don't even allow, you know, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian, you know, whether you're in a, you know, you know, even if you're in a position of power, you know, you're in the politics or in the government or whatever, you're not even allowed to go to, you know, these events. You know, you read verse 6, it says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So you see, you know, because again, you know, they you know, they spend all kind of money and resources, right? They do their diligent research, and again, you know, with all their schemes and whatnot, all their plots and all their plans to destroy us and keep us in a situation where we're disconnected from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because that's where, you know, as long as we're in a state of sin, and as long as we're in a position where Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is not dealing with us, you know, this kingdom, Esau, basically he'll never be taken out of power. All right. And again, you know, because, well, you know, because this is a part of our curses. Before I bring up my next point, when you go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, going all the way down to the 58 verse, or I'm sorry, 48, Deuteronomy 28 and 48, it says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. So you see, again, you know, that's going into Esau, Edom, and even more so those wicked elites, the banking families. All right, they own everything, they control everything. All right, and again, you know, Trump is basically addressing these elites. I'm talking about, you know, Biden, how he's, you know, basically a puppet for these elites, but he himself, Donald Trump himself, because again, you know, it's no secret that, you know, these presidents, they're not elected, they're selected. All right, even Trump himself, you know, he was selected, you know, but nevertheless, for whatever reason, you know, Trump is starting to, you know, speak up and out and against these, you know, these elites. But nevertheless, you know, that, you know, touch on this eagle a little bit, because that's how you know it's pretty much going into you know, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, dealing with the eagle. We go to Obadiah, the first chapter. There's only one chapter. We go to start at verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Yeah, because you know, Esau, Edom, you know, these devils, you know, and this is one of the characteristics of an eagle. All right, an eagle is a very prideful animal. It soars on high, looks down low. You know, it spends a lot of time in you know, in high places, right? And again, you know, this is well, before I jump the gun, I'm gonna read on. It says, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Because again, you know, Esau, Edom, you know, and even more so, you know, the banking families, you know, the elites, you know, so-called illuminati, you know, this is their attitude. They really believe in their hearts that, you know, their kingdom is going to be here forever, and they're never going to be taken down. All right. Verse 4 says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. So you see, this is that eagle, you know, that was going to you know, this is that eagle that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua was referring to, that will consume us, you know, as part of our curses. All right. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. So yeah, you know, because again, you know, they got all their, you know, the high sky towers, you know, the high rise buildings and whatnot, you know, just like an eagle. You know, an eagle, Again, it soars on high. It looks, looks low. You know, um, and when it comes to Esau, Edom, they got all their satellites, space stations. All right. Um, and again, they just have it in the minds is their attitude is they can never be taken down. Esau, he really trusts in his technology, his weapons. All right, which has caused them to be these prideful people. Even though they have this mindset of never being taken down, when you read on, it says, "Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh." So ultimately, Yahweh Bashim Shai is ultimately gonna, bring these devils down. And again, he has to, because, if Esau were to reign forever, then none of us would be here, and then none of us would, we'd all be wiped out for the most part. And this is why, going back to, the Psalms, the 64th chapter, King David, he was praying, to be preserved, because again, these devils, man, they like I said, they devise all type of wicked schemes, man, to keep us down. To they're poisoning us. All right, this is why we need that hedge of protection from Yahweh Shai. This is why we need him to, speed these days up for the elect's sake, because none of us will be here, But nevertheless, like I said, going into the whole Illuminati and those in dark places in the deep state, it's a very real thing. All right, and Esau Edom, he's behind it. All right, go to Jeremiah, the 49th chapter. 49, and start at verse 15. 16, it says, "Thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart." So again, because like I said, through their technology, is because they really trust in their technology, their weapons, which was their blessing given to them. If you know the history in Genesis, the book of Genesis, that their blessing was a sword. All right. So again, they trust in their technology, they trust in their sword, their weapons. All right. And that's what's caused them to, be puffed up and proud. When you read on, it says, "Oh, thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock." All right. So you see, and Esau Edom, he's known as, these so-called Caucasians, which, that's a word that comes from, basically cave dweller. All right. Because, at a point in time, because, again, when you know the history, with, basically the curses that were, the curse that was put upon Cain, which that is Esau Edom today. All right. Esau Edom, or Cain, came back through reincarnation as Esau Edom. All right. But if you know the history of Cain, all right, the blessing he would, part of that blessing, or excuse me, the curses that were put upon Cain was, being a bum, being a vagabond, a fugitive on the earth. All right. So, throughout history, Esau Edom, he's known for basically, just being a hassle, and it got to a point where, people, they pretty much, they were fed up with Esau Edom, and they pretty much drove him, ran him off into the mountains. All right. So again, these were the original cave dwellers. All right. These so-called Caucasians, that's where that term comes from. Dwellest on the clefts of the rocks, thou that holdest the height of the hill, that thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle. So you see that? Going back to that eagle. All right. It says, "I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh." Also Edom. So you see, this is going into Esau Edom. All right. "Shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof." Yeah, because Esau Edom, when you read verse 15, it says, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men." All right. Because how Esau Edom got, because here it just said, as far as Esau's desolation, it's going to be an astonishment, because again, these are the same people that, they've conquered the earth. You got a lot of people that, look up to Esau Edom as the Most High. They really look at Esau as God, because again, with their military and their might, but again, Yahweh Shem Shai, the time is going to come where Yahweh Shem Shai is going to bring them down, and they're going to be, as the scriptures say, it's going to bring them down to hell. They're going to be in captivity. Again, they're based the ultimate, they like to say in the world, from rags to riches. Well, Esau, he's going to be the ultimate from riches to rags. All right, because again, here it is, they have everything, but Yahweh Shem Shai is going to bring them down to nothing. All right, so that's why they're going to be in astonishment. All right, and again, of the hopefully elect, this is what Yahweh says, I'm one of those men, because you got those that are crying out to Yahweh Shem Shai, were hoping and praying, to that Yahweh Shem Shai brings these devils down, because again, if the Lord lets them continue another 10 or even 5 years, man, we'd all be done, So again, we're crying out to Yahweh Shem Shai to bring these devils down, to take them out, man, because, the earth itself is crying out to the Lord, because again, they spend all type of money and resources to, just basically, because what comes with Esau is nothing but death, man. Death and poison. That's the only, thing that comes with Esau, So, but yeah, just touching on this, that eagle. All right, these are the people that will come upon us and consume us. All right, as part of the curses, that befell us, because again, we went off. All right, go to Second Ezra, the 11th chapter, also goes into that, because he would be the ones that Esau, Edom, this eagle. All right, that's their symbol. That's their emblem. It's on the back of the dollar bill. All right. Because again, it's because of that pride. And this would be the last ruling heathenistic nation, that would be ruling in these last days, before Yahweh Shem Shai comes back and establishes righteousness on the earth. Until Esau, Edom, they would be the last nation to rule before the Israelites. Let me get this real quick. Second Ezra 11 verse 1, it says, "Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads." All right, now, not going to get into this whole breakdown dealing with this, but the point I want to, dealing with those, feathers and wings and heads, but the point I want to focus on is that eagle. All right, because when you jump down to verse 39, it says, it says, "Art not thou it that remainest of the 4 beasts whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them?" So yeah, again, because Esau, Edom, he would be the last heathen nation to control and run the earth. You got those Moabites, those so-called Chinese, they think they're next to rule, and that's why, they've pretty much been getting judged and plagued. But nevertheless, Esau, Edom, that eagle, all right, he would be the last nation to rule, the heathen nation to rule. All right, reading on, it says, "And the 4th came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long dwelt he upon the earth with deceit." All right, going back to that whole veil, the covenant cast over all the people. All right, these are the ones that are ruling in darkness. Verse 41, it says, "For the earth has thou not judged with truth." So you see, because I was going to say, these are the same, the same individuals, the same group of people, they don't, they cover the just get it, Job 9 and 24. Job 9:24, Job 9:24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And again, if you know, the wicked, it's a code name for Esau, Edom. All right. It says, he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So you see, like as it just said, going back to Second Ezra, the 11th chapter, they judge they don't judge the earth in truth. They claim they believe in, the Bible and whatnot. But nevertheless, they use the Bible to their advantage, right? They use the scriptures to benefit themselves, all right? So this is what, because I was gonna say, they cover the faces of the judges, they don't judge in righteousness, but they judge in wickedness, all right, with much oppression, all right. Verse 45, it says, and therefore appear no more, thou eagle. So ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to hear, because he's already hearing, he's already paying attention to the prayers of the saints, but eventually he's going to act on it. All right, because again, if these people, if these devils continue, much longer, this whole earth will be destroyed. And this is also going into that, when it deals with, because scripture that popped into my head, this is also that dragon, and it talks about it in Revelations. Let me get this, Job 30 and Job 30 and 5 says, they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thieves. So you see, these are the same individuals that were once there was, and in an appointed time, and in the past times, they were driven into the mountains and whatnot, because again, they were known for being, the curse that was put upon their forefather Cain, it was being a bum, a vagabond, a fugitive on the earth. All right. So again, these are the same individuals, they were chasing, reading in verse 6, it says, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and the caves of the earth and in the rocks. All right. So you see, again, these are the same, those so-called Caucasians. All right. The original cave dwellers. All right. Seeing if there's let me jump up to verse or jump down rather, verse 29. It says, I am a brother to dragons and a companion to owls. So you see, all right, because Esau Edom, he technically he's our brother, but Job, through the spirit, these things were being, he was saying these things through the spirit, all right, because like I said, he's that dragon that spoke about in the book of Revelations, the 12th chapter, verse 3, it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon. So you see, because again, when you know the history in Genesis, Esau, Edom, he came out red, or he came out like a let me get that real quick, because I don't want to because I don't think it says he came out red. I think it says he came out like a, Genesis 25 and 25, it says, and the first came out red all over like in a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. All right. So this is that same, going back to Revelations. This is that same red Hebrew Edomite. All right. This is that dragon that was, I just read in Job. All right. It says having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon its head. It's going into, NATO and the EU. All right. You jump down to verse 9, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. And that's just, more so talking about the physical counterpart of Satan. All right. Because that old serpent, that old serpent goes back to the Garden of Eden, that serpent that, beguiled Eve. All right. This is that same serpent. All right. The same dragon, that same spirit. All right. It's back today, and reading on it says, which deceiveth the whole world. All right. So you see, because like I said, that covering cast. All right. Esau Edom. He's poisoned the whole earth. All right. It says he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. All right. Now jumping down to verse 17, it says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of the Most High, and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. So you see, because again, now that this woman is similar to talking about the nation of Israel. Israel is likened unto a woman, commonly, a beautiful woman. All right. And even more so the elect, because again, only the elect right now, they're trying, to the best of their abilities to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Shai. That's what people got to understand. This is, at the end of the day, this is about Jacob and Esau. All right. This is nothing new. All right. But nevertheless, so yeah, this is what they try to do, this war between Jacob and Esau. All right, this is why this is why they have all these secret dark councils. All right, they spend all these resources and whatnot, all these summits and all these meetings. This is what they're trying to do to ultimately stop the prophets, from prophesying, because you see them, with all, because like I said, all these protests and riots and everything that's going on right now. It's all controlled. It's all set up. All right. And, they're allowing these things to, take place. They're allowing these, police precincts to be, overthrown and whatnot, because they want these things to happen so they can bring the military in, so they can come after the, the prophets. It talks about that in 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, I do believe, the insurrection of those that fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is what it's about at the end of the day, because the prophets, the men of the Lord, they're they're exposing, for the most part, they're exposing all of Esau, Edom's, plans and all his deep dark secrets and mysteries. The prophets, they're exposing them. And this is why, I think it's this chapter, verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which again is the physical counterpart of Satan, which is Esau Edom, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he hath but a short time. And why does he know that he has but a short time? Because again, the prophets, they're prophesying. They're singing this song, all right, and which is causing, a lot of things to happen. All right, and again, these wicked elites, the so-called Illuminati, they see these things happening, and this is why they're acting fast. All right, this is why they're, everything's, it appears to be be moving quickly. All right, so again, this is why, they do what, they do what they do. Dealing with the whole Illuminati, it's a very real thing. It's not a conspiracy. All right, even, our forefathers, they prayed for protection and to be preserved, because, even our forefathers, they knew and understood that they knew and understood these things. There's a council. There's always been a plot to basically, destroy us and wipe us out. When you read about, Purim, all right, and all the other events in history that took place, there's always been a plot to destroy us and take us out, all right? So Esau Edom, it didn't start with him, but it's going to end with him. He could tell you that, because again, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to throw a monkey wrench into their plans, and ultimately he's going to take them out, all right? But dealing with this whole Illuminati, when we go to Isaiah the 14th chapter, it talks about the Lucifer. Isaiah 14 and 12. Yeah, let me see what this says real quick. Dealing with see what that says.
Strong's H 1966. Haleo. Haleo.
All right, which it just means light bearer. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, because again, the word Lucifer it just means nothing but light bearer. All right, and they for the most part the prophets, they're Luciferians, you could say, because again, that word Lucifer, that term, it just means nothing but light bearer. All right, and these people, these individuals, the Illuminati, all right, they proclaim themselves to be ultimately they proclaim themselves to be the Most High. All right, they want to be gods on earth. All right, but again, they proclaim themselves to be the the all-knowing, all-seeing. That's why they have the all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar bill. All right, because they want to be they want to be gods on earth. All right, so here in verse Isaiah 14:12, it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer," or a light bearer, all right, son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? All right, because again, it's going to be an astonishment. These great and mighty people, the ultimate story of riches to rags. All right, Yahweh Shem is going to take them out. All right, and they're going to be in astonishment. Reading on to verse 13, it says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt thy throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation of the sides, in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." So you see, all right, because again, they proclaim themselves to be gods on earth. All right, like I said, they exalt themselves. They're thrown above the stars. All right, they're different satellites out there and outer space or whatnot. All right, and this is how they're able to track everyone. All right, know where you're at all times. All right, because the scriptures say that the Lord's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, meaning pretty much the Lord knows everything. There's nothing that gets past Yahweh Shem Shai, and Esau, he wants to be the same way. All right, but nevertheless, reading on in verse 15, it says, "Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." And again, they're going to be, even though they have all this technology, they have all the wealth in the world, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to take them out, and he's going to bring them down. All right. And these are the, when it comes to this Illuminati, when it talks about that spiritual wickedness in high places here in Ephesians 6:12, all right, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood." And again, our people, Jake, man, they don't understand that, the fight is not a physical battle. You can get as many guns as you want. Esau has guns much bigger and much better. All right, because again, that's his blessing. That was the blessing given to him. All right, our fight is spiritual. All right, our fight is crying out to Yahweh Shem Shai, like King David, our forefather King David. He cried out to Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, reading on, it says, "But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So this is when it comes to the whole thing with the Illuminati, it's a very real thing. All right, you have these wicked elites, man. They consult, they get their counsel directly from Satan. They conjure up all type of evil spirits and demons, open up all type of portals. All right, they get their consult from Satan directly. All right, which Satan, he works for the Most High. Which of course, but they don't know, they don't understand these things, of course, but nevertheless, dealing with the spiritual wickedness at high places. This is what it's going into. These illuminated ones, the so-called Illuminati. It's a very real thing. All right, and this is why again crying out to Yahweh Shem Shai, because again if these devils continue in power, man, much longer, man. None of us, when the Lord shows up, there's not gonna be anyone to be saved. You know. So let me go here in Psalms. So the Illuminati, those in the dark shadows and the deep state, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a very real thing. All right. And even our forefathers, they knew and understood these things. So Psalms 37 and start at verse 7. It says, rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. So you see, again, they spend all these money and resources, to basically get their will done. All right. All their draconian laws and all their oppression. They do all these things. Like I said, they use the Bible. They use the scriptures to their advantage. All right. So they can stay in power forever. All right. Because again, they're, through their technology, they're puffed up and, they really do believe and trust in their technology. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has made a trick bag and they don't understand these things. But nevertheless, I'm going to jump down to verse 12. It says, the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. So you see that? Because again, the wicked, all right, again, it's another code name for Esau, Edom, all right? It says he plotteth against the just. Now, who's the just? The righteous, the perfect? Again, that's going into the elect, because again, only the elect, though we're not perfect, do works. But it's more so in the spirit. All right. And again, this is why, Esau, Edom, they're, the beginning with the wicked elites. All right. But it says, and gnasheth upon them with his teeth, and that's pretty much, more so going into, again, like his military power, his weapons, his weaponry, his blessing, the sword. All right, because again, they're mounting up their troops. They're getting ready to come down with the great wrath upon so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. All right, like I said, this is the whole thing with riots and the looting and the overthrowing of precincts, police precincts. All right, these are all devised schemes from the wicked. All right, they're plotting all these things. All right. They're with all their propaganda and their media and the witchcraft, they're in control of all these things. Well, excuse me, ultimately Yahweh Shem Shai is in control. But nevertheless, this is, all these things, it's controlled at the end of the day, basically. All right. This is all a part of their, this is what they discuss in their secret meetings and their secret councils. These are the things that they go over. All right. To come against the just, the righteous. All right. The elite. The elect. All right. I'm gonna read on down. It says, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. So you see, because don't think for a second, that these wicked elites, these top elites, they don't know who the children of Israel are. They know damn well. All right. And again, this is why they do everything that they do, spend all the money, they spend all the resources to keep us in a state of not knowing. All right. And they devise all these wicked plots and schemes. All right. And again, they really have it in their minds, their mindset, their mental that, they can't be taken out of power. And this is why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, as well as all the hosts of heaven and even the prophets today on the earth, they're laughing. Because Esau, Edom, he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand that he's not more than a pawn for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He's not more than a tool, man, for the Heavenly Father. Because, ultimately, the Lord gave the world to Esau, Edom, to basically fulfill his will, the will of, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, so that his will may be fulfilled. But again, Esau, Edom, he doesn't know. He's just a pawn and all, and he's not but a pawn for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in his movie. All right, because you have a nation of people slated to play the righteous, which is us, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, beginning with the elect. All right, and then you have, those slated to play the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. Hence his name, one of his many code names, the wicked. All right, there's a scripture that talks about how the wicked, they're estranged from the womb. All right, they were created to be who they are, and this is why, again, they're being laughed at because, again, Yahweh Shemel Shai put it in their minds because, contrary to what they teach in the world, the whole what do they call it? Free will. All right, there's no such thing as free will. Ultimately, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's in control. You know, whatever you're thinking right now, whether it be good or whether it be evil, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's the one that's putting the thoughts in, all of our minds, all of our mental. All right, and again, going back to these wicked elites, all right, they really do believe that they're going to be in power forever. Nothing, nothing is ever going to, bring them down. All right, they think they're going to rule forever. And again, Yahweh Shemel Shai is just laughing at them because, they just don't know and they don't get it. All right. Reading on to verse 14, it says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy. And again, that's going into the elect. All right. It says, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. So again, that's their whole mission at the end of the day, is to come against the prophets, the men of the Lord. Because again, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, the prophets, they're bringing all this information out there. They're prophesying. Whenever Yahweh Shemel Shai was about to destroy a kingdom, he would bring his prophets out, all right, and send the warnings, all right, to prophesy against whatever kingdom was ruling, in their prospective times, but also to wake his people up and warn the people, warn the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, all right, and that's exactly what's going on today. Is no different than what's took place throughout time, all right. The Lord will rise a nation up, and basically, before he brought that kingdom down, he would raise up his prophets. All right. So it's no different today, because again, you got the prophets today. They've been out there for 30+ years. All right, prophesying and just prophesying. So this is why the wicked least this is why they come together in their dark councils, their secret councils, to come against the prophets ultimately, all right, to shut them up. All right. Jump down to verse 32. It says, the wicked watcheth the righteous and seeketh to slay him. So you see, goes back to that whole diligent search. All right, they study our history. They know more than what we can imagine, man. Just put it like that. Again, through diligent research, their technology. All right, Esau, they know those wicked elites, man. They know a lot of things. All right. Before I get that in Daniel's, I'm gonna read on down verse 35. It says, I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. So you see, these are the individuals that are in power. They control the earth. They control the media. They control the food supply. They control the majority of the banking. They control everything. All right. Jump down to verse 40. It says, and Yahweh shall help them and deliver them. So you see, because eventually, because like I said, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's hearing the cries and sighs of the elect, and eventually he's going to act on it. So this is why, for the most part, the elect, they don't got nothing to worry about. The Lord's going to take care of them. He's going to deliver them. All right. And reading on, it says, he shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. So you see that, ultimately, Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to save the elect from the wicked counsel that these devils, they plot against the righteous day and night. Like I said, they don't rest without plotting, producing some type of wickedness. They don't rest. Right. And this is why, they're shitting their boots now, because these things are happening. These things are taking place. The elect, they're being sealed. All right. Their kingdom is falling. All right. They're losing it. The scriptures talk about how terrors are going to basically, engulf them on all corners, on every level, But bring this out real quick. In Ezekiel, snap. Let me try 25. Ezekiel 35, where it talks about. Damn, where's that at? It talks about. Snap. Bear with me. It talks about what being wiser than Daniel. Where's that at? 28. Yep, I know where it's at. Ezekiel 28. The one of y'all bust me shine. Ezekiel 28 and Ezekiel 28:3 says, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee." And again, how are they wiser than Daniel? Because Daniel, he was a very wise man. He was able to, interpret dreams, and he was very wise. All right, but again, how is Esau they able to accomplish all these things through their that diligent search? All right. Again, this is why they come together. They search these things out. They study our history. All right. These are the things that go on in these secret councils and meetings and these summits and whatnot. All right. These plots to destroy the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, beginning with the elect. All right. So dealing with the whole, illuminati and those in the dark shadows. Trump is talking about. What did he say? He was talking about disappearing because he pissed off a lot of people and a lot of rich people and I forgot what he said, but it was something along the lines of pissing a bunch of rich people off, something like that. All right, because like I said, I don't know with what's going on with this guy Trump, and I don't know if he speaking out against the elites or whatever, but nevertheless, it's not a conspiracy theorist. It's not a conspiracy theory. These they're all people in dark places, in the dark shadows. They do exist. All right. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Yahweh Ratazah, you were edified. Once again, giving all credit to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the men whom I learned this truth from. Start with the beginning at the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Shem Shai, Barakatham to the hopefully elect. Until next time, Shalom.